A massive second half adjustment leads to a dominant Texas Tech win as the Red Raiders continue their streak of beating every opponent they have played this year by at least 24 points. This time, defeating the Kansas Jayhawks 42-17. In today's video, we'll discuss Skylar Gill-Howard and Behren Morton leaving this game early when it comes to injuries, as well as the Texas Tech defense recording 9 sacks and Cam Dickey damn near setting the all-time single-game rushing record for a Texas Tech football running back. Let's get to it. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, that was fun. That was fun. They had me scared in the second half. A lot of those scars from Texas Tech teams in the past had me scared in the second half, but I don't know what Shield Wood said at halftime, but damn it, put it in a bottle like Looney Tunes and call it that special stuff, because that was insane what the Red Raider defense did in the second half. Welcome into the Red and Black Report. I am RC Maxfield. Appreciate y'all tuning in. That game was fun, specifically in the second half. Unfortunately, you lose, in my opinion, arguably your leader on the offensive side of the football and defensive side of the football. Currently, as it stands right now, we don't know too much in terms of the severity when it comes to Behren Morton or Skylar Gill-Howard's injury. Skylar Gill-Howard, he left the field on a cart with an air cast on his lower leg, but he was seen later on the sideline in a boot. So maybe that's an encouraging sign that it wasn't as bad as it looked for the star defensive tackle for the Red Raiders. When it comes to Behren Morton, he was also on the sideline after he got rolled up on. Truth be told, I thought it was a hit drop tackle, and there was no call on that, and I get it. But Behren Morton was on the sideline. Will Hammond struggled early on, but came back and looked like he was ready for business and really living up to that nickname of Wheels Hammond. But let's go ahead and jump into the stats for this one, because you see it. And if I were to tell you that a Texas Tech football team had a 50% completion percentage and only threw for 133 yards, you probably would have said, RC, how bad did they lose the football game? Well, in fact, it's the polar opposite in this one, because there's this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a.k.a. Cam Dickey. We call him a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle here on the channel because, well, that's a dope-ass nickname. But he had 21 carries for 263 yards, one of the best rushing performances ever by a Texas Tech running back. He averaged 12.5 yards per carry, and you could tell late in this football game that Joey McGuire and crew were trying to get him the record, but hey, the win was more important, and Texas Tech did a phenomenal job at making sure this offense really in the second half was just like, all right, we're not passing the football well. Will isn't really seeing the defense too well, and we're just going to trust our running backs. And we said in the preview for this game for Texas Tech, our score prediction was not too far off, 41-20. But I said that Cam Dickey was going to have a big game against Kansas because the Red Raider offensive line was going to absolutely dominate in the interior between the tackles, and that is exactly what Texas Tech did. Truth be told, I did not expect 263 rushing yards for Cam Dickey. So I will obviously say I did not expect that. But I did expect a big game from him and Jacoby Williams. Obviously, Cam Dickey was running so hot. Why would you even put Jacoby Williams on the field with how great he looked in this game? I thought this was a breakout performance for Cam Dickey, and he is in the upper echelon in terms of leaders in the rushing department within the Big 12 and damn near the country at this point. They were phenomenal in this one, was the Texas Tech rushing attack, and we need to give a ton of credit to the Texas Tech offensive line. I thought they were sensational all the way from left tackle to right tackle. This offensive line was great tonight. Outside of really one or two holding calls, I thought they set the tone and just enforced their will against the Kansas defensive line. By the time they got into the second half, damn near looked like they just didn't want to play football anymore. It really looked like they got to that point. And speaking of not wanting to play football anymore, it looked like the Kansas offensive line just really was like, hey, when is the bus leaving Jones AT&T, and when are we headed for the airport? Because I am sick and tired of trying to cover Romello Height and David Bailey. David Bailey tonight, ladies and gentlemen, had the greatest performance I have seen from a Texas Tech pass rusher in my time of being a Texas Tech fan. Granted, that's only since 2014 when I was a freshman out there in the 806, but David Bailey dominated this game tonight. And he may have only been accounted for 3 sacks, but I'm telling you right now, A.J. Holmes Jr. got a sack because of David Bailey. Romello Height got at least 1 sack because of David Bailey. Jacob Rodriguez got 1 sack because of David Bailey and the influence that he had when it came to Kansas focusing, I should say, on him rushing the passer. He is special. He will be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. And if he is not and he goes in the second round, I hope and pray that your favorite team takes him, because he is going to be a bona fide star at the next level like he is right now. I have never seen a Texas Tech pass rusher make an impact like David Bailey did tonight. The Red Raiders had 9 sacks in this game, 14 tackles for loss. They had Jalen Daniels in absolute hell tonight. I mean, it was unbelievable. And Jalen Daniels, I thought, actually played well when he had time. The issue is, more times than not, he had 0 time to throw the football. I mean, they were dinking and dunking and everything, and rightfully so. When you have David Bailey absolutely running and abusing, whether it was the left tackle or the right tackle, he could do whatever he wanted to tonight, and he is worth every damn cent that Texas Tech paid him when it came for him to transfer from Stanford to the 806. Him and Romello Height easily create one of the best tandems, or I should say duos, in college football when it comes to getting after the quarterback. And this was the game that we were promised, really, as Red Raider Nation, in the sense of we were hyping up these guys, and Lord knows I was doing it. I was hyping up Romello Height and David Bailey. I mean, shoot, I said one of my bold predictions this year was David Bailey and Romello Height will combine for 25-plus sacks. Math is mathing right now. They're on a good pace. I'll say that. And tonight helped. But this defensive performance by the Red Raiders, specifically in the second half, was one of legends. Let's go ahead and just look at this from a broader scope, right? And go ahead and look at both teams in terms of what they did in this game. Texas Tech had 505 yards of total offense. Think about this. The Red Raiders allowed 319 total yards, okay? Let's go ahead and scroll down. We'll do some quick math real quick for you guys. Cam Dickey by himself, okay, had 279 yards of total offense. He was only 40 yards short by himself of what Kansas had as a team. This was a dominant performance for Texas Tech for really 3 quarters. I thought in the second quarter, they came out and were just flat after going out up 3 possessions in the first quarter, 18-0, as you can see on your screen right there. But again, I don't know what Joey McGuire, Sheil Wood, Mac Leftwich said at halftime, but damn it, bottle it up, like I said, in Space Jam, and just call it the secret stuff and give it to the Red Raiders before they play any game moving forward. You got Arizona State next week, and I'm telling you right now, Coach Dillingham and the Sun Devils do not want to watch this tape after what Texas Tech did to Jalen Daniels in that Kansas offense. I mean, this was the most dominant performance I have seen from a Texas Tech defense in at least a decade in terms of my time covering them. And it feels like maybe the most dominant performance, specifically in the second half, that we have seen against Power 4 competition by Texas Tech in a quarter century. This defense is unreal. And even on a night where Texas Tech struggled to pass the football, they objectively were bad. Whether that was Baron Morton in the game, he didn't look too great on some of his throws. He missed a couple, and unfortunately, he's injured. We'll keep you updated here on the channel. Another reason to like the video and hit that subscribe button and join the RBR squad. We'll keep you updated on all the injuries, whether it's Baron Morton, Skylar Gill-Howard, or anybody else that pops up on the injury report after this game. But the Red Raiders went out and dominated this game at the point of attack, at the line of scrimmage, whether it was on the offensive or defensive side of the football, in the trenches. The Red Raiders absolutely abused the Kansas Jayhawks and made them look not even pedestrian, worse than that, specifically in the second half, where Texas Tech kind of took their foot off the gas. It felt like, at least objectively, on the offensive side of the football. On the defensive side of the football, I will not say that this team took their foot off the gas. David Bailey is a bona fide superstar. Romello Height, a bona fide superstar. Jacob Rodriguez should be the best linebacker in the country and win the Buckus Award this season, okay? I mean, Lee Hunter was dominant on the interior. I feel bad for Jalen Daniels, and I hope he figures out how to deal with nightmares moving forward, because Texas Tech has absolutely going to be in his nightmares for the foreseeable future after what they did to his offensive line in front of him and what they did to him tonight specifically, because Jalen Daniels is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He was solid tonight, but it was a lot of dinking and dunking. But overall, the Red Raiders dominated this game in the trenches, and that's where we thought this would be. Truth be told, right? This is what we thought this team would do. Maybe we undersold it in some regards. I can admit I probably undersold it. But David Bailey and Romello Height are setting the tone, and they have rush lane integrity, and they're just not getting after the passer. They're dominating in the run game as well. Let's go ahead and put those stats on the screen one more time. Look at that. They held Kansas to 1.9 yards rushing. Now, granted, some of that was due to the sack numbers there for sure. But again, you beat Kansas by nearly 300 yards on the ground. You outrushed them by 298 yards. Just thoroughly outclassed the Jayhawks, sending them back to Lawrence with a big fat L, and the Red Raiders now move their focus onto what could potentially be a top 25 matchup out in Tempe. Will Sam Leavitt play? We'll keep you updated on that front. Sam Leavitt being the Arizona State quarterback. He's missing this game this week against Utah. We'll see what happens for the Sun Devils out in Salt Lake City. They're playing at the time of this recording. I'm recording this right after the game because, damn it, I'm excited. And if you want 100% free content, real authentic content, we don't have to curate anything. This is real authentic takes here on the Red and Black Report. If you want that 100% free and stay in the know on everything Texas Tech football, men's basketball, whether it's on the hardwood, transfer portal, I mean, we've got you covered. Gridiron. I mean, I'm just losing my mind right now thinking about David Bailey getting after Jalen Daniels. And I feel sorry for Jalen Daniels right now. And I know I'm rambling. I know I am, but I genuinely feel bad about the nightmares that man is going to have thinking about David Bailey sacking him again. And by the way, just right now, I can't prove it, and it may not be a fact, but I think David Bailey just got another sack. I can't prove it, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's that good. Wow. I mean, what a second half by this defense. Just unbelievable, man. If you're excited about this Texas Tech team and you want to stay in the know on all things Red Raiders all year long, this is the place for you. This video's done. Just like KU's chances of beating Texas Tech. Done. Finished. Gone. Capiche. See you later. Sayonara type stuff. The Red Raiders dominate again and once again beat an opponent by 24-plus points, easily covering the spread in this game, which was 14 points, defeating the Kansas Jayhawks on homecoming, 42-17 in these absolutely just saucy jerseys. Absolutely love them. And I appreciate you tuning into today's video. That's going to do it. Enough rambling from me. Thank you again, once again, to tuning in to the video and being a supporter of the channel. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, as always, stay safe and Recom Tech.